Christina, Ryan also got a light peer report, so we can hand that out during public comment too.
We have that right here, but
Oh,
you can
here.
reference it.
Okay, you already got it? Okay.
You got it,
All right.
yes.
That's right, Lori said she emailed it.
About 10 minutes early, you're late.
I know.
12 minutes to 6.
Huh. That's why I'm using it Santa Claus for next year. I don't find them, just to watch, because I used to get them all the time. Nobody calls me. Travis, he does, he might call.
It is, I know.
And you have a cane and it goes, Val has little hooks on the end of hers.
Oh, I just saw your name here.
Hooks on the end of your cane.
That's got no problem.
How'd you know I was here?
Go in the ice express so you don't fall
Fall
into
into the ice.
Doctor said you might want to bring somebody else to your
I know you get that,
appointment.
all that space for your
But she
papers.
thinks maybe, I don't remember.
Hey, just so you know, there's no agenda.
I printed a bunch of them.
Who sits here? I think that's Mike's, isn't it?
Hey, Mark.
But I've been outside all day, so I'm warm.
Don't have room for any chairs, or do we?
I think I was in and out 6 or 8 times today.
There's a couple up there. It's easier to hear sometimes.
Good, how are you? I got it.
Hey, Carrie, how are you? Come on, Carrie.
Did you have surgery?
I got it from you.
Oh,
Yeah,
Gotcha.
it was fine before I could. Apparently, whatever they used. I have terrible rash on my arm. And now I'm treated for it.
I'm allergic to all
I
that.
got it.
All the creams and stuff at this time, there's stuff in them that you're allergic to. You know, like, steroid pills and stuff like that. If you use that, then
Nothing
it's
works
worse.
you get to a certain age, it quits. Oh, you got a long ways to go yet. So I tell you. From 50, then it starts going downhill.
And I propofol or and no, that's
I had to write my
no,
notes down.
this is propofol.
I can tell you, but you got
But this is people like it. But, yeah. And I've got a couple other things going on, so it's not fun. So what's, how you doing?
Somebody put it in the document holder on the counter instead of on the
So
counter.
I
Oh,
had,
shoot, how many do you have?
actually, no.
All of them.
I read your thing. Is it on?
Somebody is plugging in there.
And it healed itself, and the doctor was like, that doesn't.
Mine started to years back in
I can check and let you know.
So I said, should I
Yeah.
not do anything? Which I can't anyways. I mean, it's a miracle that I'm
I was there 15 years ago, and I remember just breasting girls there, and get on and first it in the rear, then in front.
How light is your car?
I have a hard time right now.
Like, does it,
Because
slippy?
oh, you know, I get by some ice.
And then put some sand or some salt or something. I carry feed in the back.
I'm a
Yeah.
walking miracle. I
You
just,
are.
Friday I was just beside myself. I was just so, thank you, Jesus. He's my, what else can I do now?
Thank you, sir.
Well, I was wondering what this was.
It is 6:00 PM, and I will be calling the Ross Township Board regular board meeting to order. I'll rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
No, just wait a minute. Okay,
Put it right behind you, I'm sorry.
I know.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, you may proceed for the roll call. It is 6:00 PM, and I will be calling. Sorry. There we go.
Christina Hutchins.
Here.
Mary Stage, here. Amanda Wiersma.
Here.
Diana Langshaw. Here. Michael Beeks, absent with cause. Lynn Harmon.
Here.
Todd White. Here. Rob Thal is present.
Thank you. We will be moving into approving the agenda. However, I need to make one correction. I do need to add where it says draft minutes. Everybody has the November 12th town hall minutes in your board packet. However, I did not put them in the heading. So it should be November 19th regular meeting, November 12th town hall, and then December 12th special meeting. So I do have a correction to add to the agenda. Lynn, you may go next.
I move we approve the agenda with the correction as stated.
We have a motion and support to approve the agenda with the correction. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
I move we approve the consent agenda.
We have a motion and support to approve the consent agenda as presented. Is there any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We are moving into citizen comment at 6:01 PM. People will get 3 minutes to address the Ross Township Board. I'm setting my timer. Please state and spell your name for the record and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please be advised, citizen comment is designed for a one-way commentary to address the Township Board. A response to your comments should not be expected. If citizens are requesting a response, please contact Ross Township during business hours for further assistance or information. And thank you for turning the light on. And please make sure when you are up at the podium that you do speak into the microphone so we make sure individuals watching at home can hear you as well. Who would like to start us off?
Supervisor Hutchins, before you start the 3-minute clock, may I ask for a timeout?
No, sir.
Jackie Vanderwalker, she called me this morning, and she...
Mark, could you
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you better
All
now.
right.
Spell your last name for the record, sir.
Rodgers, Mark Rogers.
Thank you.
Jackie Vanderwalker contacted me this morning, and she informed me she had issued you an email, and she wanted to make sure it's part of the formal record. So I would like to hand this to somebody.
Thank you.
Okay, am I live? Can I start now?
You go.
All right. Hello, my name is Mark Rogers. I live on Sherman Lake. I'm here today to voice my concerns regarding the sewer connection fees and the quarterly service bills. 7 months before the sewer mandate was approved, I had John Crum come to my property to provide a quote for connecting to the sewer. Mr. Crum offered a $2,000 discount to both myself and to my neighbor when we agreed to have a 2-inch lateral installed that would serve both of our properties. The initial quote for the connection was $16,000. When the mandate was passed, the connection fee increased to $18,000. That's a $2,000 increase in 7 months. This discrepancy in the numbers caused me to question all the information on the sewer. And as history has shown, my instinct was correct. I created a graph showing the quarterly service bills from 2021 to 2024. May I pass out my graph to you?
You may hand it to Trustee Herman. Yes, thank you, sir.
I have copies for everybody here. Thank you. Maybe I'll just wait just a couple of minutes for Trustee Harmon to pass it out.
Mark, could you clarify, did he promise you a $2,000 discount for you to join together with your neighbor? Is that what you?
Each neighbor
Thank you.
would get a $2,000 credit.
Okay.
Did I
thank you.
answer that?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Looking at the graph before you, I show the quarterly service bills for the years 2021 to 2024. As you can see, the quarterly bill in Q1 of 2021 was $114, and it increased to $171 in Q2 of 2024. This is a 50% increase. I find this increase to be excessive. When a mandate is imposed, residents have no choice but to pay whatever the township decides. Each of you hold a significant amount of power. I ask you to exercise it with careful consideration. I urge you to independently examine the sewer costs and to make decisions that are fair and prudent. In my opinion, these costs are out of control. This madness needs to stop. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Well done. 4 seconds to spare. Who would like to go next?
Good evening, I'm Ron Slagle, S-L-A-G-E-L-L. I'm the CEO for Life Care Ambulance. So for some of you, it's good to see you again. I was a 35-year resident of this township before I took a new role. I still remain the CEO for Life Care Ambulance, but now I have responsibilities for our sister ambulance services in Jackson, Ann Arbor, and Monroe. So my main purpose here tonight is to introduce our new Vice President of Operations, Brian Walls. As you may know, Steve Frisbee, our longtime Vice President of Operations, was elected to the Michigan House of Representatives. So effective last Friday, he has moved on from our organization and retired after 40 years of service. So Brian Walls has been with our organization for many years as well, as part of the Jackson operation, so I wanted to introduce him. I know we also provided our ambulance quarterly report for you there so that you can reference that, but just wanted to introduce ourselves tonight and have the opportunity to let you know him.
Nice to meet everyone. Just a
Brian.
little history for myself. I've been with Emergent Health Partners for about 20 years now. I've been on the ambulance. I've been in supervision. I was safety during our pandemic, unfortunately. And then vice president as of 2021 of the Jackson and Lenawee area. I also oversee our wheelchair van division, and I look forward to the opportunity to work with everybody out here as Life Care's vice president as well. So,
Thank you. Do you have a business card that I could have?
I have several. I can.
Perfect. You could hand them to Trustee Harmon.
Thank
Thank you. Who would like to go next?
Good evening. My name is Christine Russell. I live at 5910 Forest Beach Drive. I want to say that I totally agree with Mark Rogers on the costs of having sewer at my property. We didn't have a choice in it, and the raises are incredible. But what I want to touch on is this. I have spoken to Christina about this. I actually ran into her this summer on my property, or near my property, and at the time she told me that John Crum was responsible for fixing the problem that gully sewer and water caused on my property and my neighbors' properties, Susan McBain and also Jeff Whitcomb's property. I have not heard a word from John Crum. And as far as I can say, when I don't know who exactly is legally responsible for this because I am not an attorney. It has not been to court. But my sewer equipment is adjoined with Susan McBain's right next door to mine, in a similar situation to what Mark was describing. It's a V-shaped thing. The check valves for both of our sewers are not on our properties, mine or Susan's. They are on Jeff Whitcomb's property. Susan McBain's whole system is on Jeff Whitcomb's property. When they came to install the sewer, they crammed it through on one day. They were very reckless, did a lot of damage to the properties, and destroyed an ecosystem that had been there for 60 years for the drainage of Forest Beach down into the drain, the big drain on Sewer Lake that's just below Susan McBain's property on Jeff Whitcomb's lot. So I have had Eagle out there, and we've talked about there's nothing they want to do about it. But Jeff Whitcomb's property is still destroyed. He had tons of myrtle that served as a water garden to protect the lake, and it is not able to do that now because it's just fill dirt. And the fact is that I have spoken with title companies and bankers, and I have even gotten in writing that we cannot sell our properties because no title company or financial company would touch it because there's no way to legally service this sewer. Jeff Whitcomb or John Crum and Gull Lake Sewer and Water have no legal right to trespass again, as they are still trespassing to begin with, on Jeff Whitcomb's property to fix our sewer. And being that they're attached together, if something happens to hers, it also happens to mine. If it happens to mine, it happens to hers. So we are screwed.
Christine, I'm sorry. So your 3 minutes are up, but I want to reassure you two things. So one thing, you didn't know whether this was a Ross Township issue or if it was Gull Lake Sewer and Water. I can assure you that this issue that you and I spoke about this summer and the issue that you're speaking about right now, it definitely belongs to Gull Lake Sewer and Water.
Well, they are the ones that made the mess.
Yeah, is there anything else you would like to add to that, or?
Have you been to their meetings to talk to them about it?
I have not been to their meetings. I did send them a letter explaining the whole thing, the same as I've sent to the board here. I've sent to their board. John Crum has been talked to a zillion times about it. Susan McBain talks to him every time she goes to pay her bill.
Christine, so you indicated that you have a letter from a real estate agent or somebody that said your house can't be sold because the infrastructure can't be serviced. How do you feel about giving me a copy of that? Would you share that with me?
I can do that. This was, I'm trying to think about, forget who this was from. I will have to look in back in my files. I have one from, I think, that came from Fifth Third.
And the reason why I ask
from
it,
Chase.
yeah, and if you would share it, thank you, because I'm going to give it to our legal counsel and give him the ability to kind of, push over there
Okay.
and
I actually
get answers
brought
on
it-
your behalf.
I found it last night in my files, and it says, per title company and my underwriters, you would need an easement recorded, an acceptable maintenance agreement, a movement of the property lines, which I believe that has been discussed with Whitcomb's. And the problem is, if they move the property line on Whitcomb's property, it no longer makes their property not buildable.
Okay,
And so I understand his reason to not want to do that. And
Right.
they weren't offering him very much money for that, you know? The only other solution I can see, and what most people could see, is that they move the equipment. Move Susan McBain's equipment and fix mine. Technically, if you look at the property, my property should have had its own sewer line and check valve on my property, and hers should have been on her property, and they could have come in from that little loop that's called Sarah Drive, the same as they did her neighbor on the other side, without even coming near my property, and they never even measured. They had the geological survey maps. They can look at it from online. They had all that available to them, and they did not use it. It started to rain that day. They just wanted to cram it through, get it done, and save a few feet of pipe by putting them together.
Sure. If you could, and we want to help, definitely, because that's the same conversation you and I had this summer, Christine. So that document, if you have that and anything else, if you would make a copy of it, we can make it two things. One, a part of tonight's minutes. It will go to the clerk. She will include it in our minutes. And then I can pass that along to our legal counsel, who can potentially have a conversation with Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority about expediting a solution to your problem.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Can I?
I'm
see-
sorry this continues to happen,
Well,
Christine.
it's going on 2 years.
I know.
And
Would you like to
I'm
bring that
73
forward?
years old, and my neighbor is 76 years old, and we're starting to think about we might want to move to someplace. My property is very difficult to take care of,
I understand.
and hers is too, but not nearly. You know, she doesn't have nearly the amount of land that I have.
You've
So-
got quite a slope.
Yeah, I have. I am the highest slope on Forest Beach.
Yes.
Which is why I have an enormous. I was able during the sewer excavation. I had a bird's eye view of everything that was going on.
Thank you. Let us try and help you from here, Christine.
I
Thank you
hope
for
so.
coming
Thank
tonight.
you.
I appreciate you. Next.
Good evening. I hope you all had a great Christmas. Before I begin, I want to just reiterate what Chris said. If we all remember, and some of you were not
Can you begin
trustees-
with your name, please?
Oh, I'm
and spell your last
sorry.
name?
I'm
That's all right.
Carrie Lynn Eliff, Elieff, like Frank. And I live on 39th Street. If we all remember the November 9th meeting, 2021, it was stated that John Crum was an agent of the township, and Rob Thaw was his attorney at the time. So some of you that weren't on the board need to know that. So John Crum is an agent of the township, and therefore the township should be able to help rectify some of this stuff. But I'm here on a completely different matter. Tonight, you're going to be either discussing or deciding to discuss at a different time my appeal for what I believe are arbitrary and capricious excessive fees due to my FOIA request. And it's puzzling because the board has never heard, as far as I can tell, and maybe I missed it, but I went back through 2021, all the meeting minutes. The board has never discussed a FOIA. And again, I could be mistaken, but what I saw, I did not see it. It also stated that the board might decide whether to discuss it tonight or within 10 days. I'm going to ask you to not discuss it within 10 days because each special meeting, the trustees get $300, and you would be charging our residents over $1,200 because you have to include attorney fees to hear it at a different time. So my FOIA has to do with public banking and getting all the information regarding the public banking, which is in the public interest. And according to MCL 15-234-4, the body can choose to reduce or dismiss and waive the reduction of the fee because it's in the public interest, and it is in the public interest. And so I'm asking you to waive especially the excessive fees. Disclosure of requested information is public interest and likely to contribute significantly to the public's understanding of the operation and activities. I gave you each a packet, and you'll see more information regarding, but I just wanted to touch on that one. And also redacting, I'm going to ask that there be no redactions except for what is absolutely necessary. I've gotten FOIAs back that are pretty much blacked out pages. And these are the only reasons for redacting. If the classified information is for national defense or foreign policy, internal revenue personnel rules and practices, information that is exempt under laws, trade secrets, interagent and interagent memorandum, personnel and medical files, law enforcement records, and information concerning the official regulatory supervision of a bank. None of this falls under that category. I can understand if there is a social security number, that would have to be redacted. But also, and I'm just going to finish with this, also, it is stated in the law that you cannot charge more than the lowest paying member employee of the body, of the township, the governing body. So these are excessive fees, and it's very clear. And I'm just going to ask you to discuss it tonight and vote to approve it, and I thank you.
Thank you, Carrie Lynn. Next. It's all quiet. 6:22 p.m. Public comment is closed. Moving forward into various committee and service organization reports. I'll go first. I wanted to let everybody know I did distribute to everyone the Road Commission of Kalamazoo board packet of roads and the appropriate cost of chip sealing or doing other maintenance on roads in Ross Township. I was told Thursday that there will be new rate packets to come because the estimators found a formula error. So all of the road commission information that I gave all of you should be left in the township shredder. So I will take those from you if you brought them tonight. I am pursuing a DNR grant, and the grant, the first bit of information is due February 1st, and grant amounts are for recreational facilities, and they gift up to $150,000. The only problem is it's a one-for-one gift, so it would be matching from Ross Township, but I'm going after some support on our bathrooms in the park because the partitions are rusting and they're crumbly and they're unsafe for bare feet, and I'm going to take a crack at getting a DNR grant. And then I just wanted to officially let this board know that I did attend the Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority board meeting on Thursday, and I was asked to leave the closed session. I was excused, so I think it's important for the board to understand that I was asked to leave. I think it's important also for constituents to understand that as well. And the other update, who would like to go next? Trustee White, would you like to go next? Oh.
Why were you asked to leave the closed session?
I can't say that.
It's fine.
Am I allowed to?
Well, it wasn't said in the closed session.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So I was asked to leave the closed session.
You never went in, right?
Well, right, we were in open session, but I was asked to pack up my things and leave because Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority's attorney was going to talk to the rest of the commissioners at Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority about pros and cons of litigation against Ross Township. Next. Who would like to go next? Anybody have any commissions or anything to update us on? Thank you. Thank you.
I have a fire board report. We applied for a grant for approximately $275,000.
with Berry and Hope Townships for breathing gear, and we won't know until December 20, or December of next year, or even a little bit sooner, whether or not we receive that grant. We completed the budget for 2025 in December. I believe it was approved by the village at their January meeting because they do the budget in January. The self-evaluations are turned in as of January 1 by all but one or two of the fighters. And the fire command is to complete the evaluations tonight and have reports to the fire board for files completed by the end of January. Other committee reports are in progress. We are having monthly meetings the second Thursday unless there is no business. And Amanda's updating the 24-25 budget items to amend if needed, but we are within budget and the categories are just being updated. That's all I have. And then there's handouts that I hope all of you look at. The personal training percentage report for the firefighters and the personal call percentage. I think you need to look at that. It's for each one of the firefighters, and it's kind of interesting. And then we have the budget minutes are included in the packet, and the amended budget for 24-25 is there. But it's quite interesting to look at the training percentage and the number of calls that the individuals are going on. So,
Thank you. Who would like to give an update next?
I don't have anything.
Nothing from clerk stage? All right, we're all talked out. All right, very good. Police chief, is there anything you wanted to add?
Other than we're having driving issues in this township since the first
Everywhere.
of the year.
Everywhere.
Fortunately, we haven't had any serious injury accidents, but we've had 7 so far this first week in the last week here. Knock on wood, we didn't have any today, but, people are definitely having trouble navigating the winter weather. Other than that, calls for service are about normal for this time of year. No major issues that we're having. So, any questions? Seeing none, thank you much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Moving through to old business, I will turn this over to legal.
The first thing is the Sherman Lake sewer connection legal update. We have, out of those that we're pursuing to connect, 2 are fully connected at this point. All but 2 have pulled permits, and the remaining, the ones that have pulled permits, there's motions for show cause to determine scheduling, I think, as to why they've not connected so far. So those will be assigned a court date, and it's between them and the judge as to why they haven't connected to date.
Thank you.
And then, do you want me to just go on?
Yeah, those are both yours, or those
So,
are all yours.
Then on the life care ambulance contract, right now, we're in discussion with our department currently to seek input regarding the contract, so that's where that currently stands. And then on the intergovernmental agreement for the fire department, we're not on any kind of time deadline, and I basically need more input from the board regarding how they want to proceed. And we can have those discussions.
Anybody have any questions of Attorney Thaw? Thank you, sir.
when it says on your motion, what did you want with that?
In case we wanted to, I don't know, kick it down the road or whatever. I'd just leave it open because it gives us the opportunity to take action if it's there. Moving forward to new business, I'm going to ask everybody to get on your phones. I would like to set budget workshops, please, so I can have those noticed. I would need to look at, within the next couple weeks. We have a new trustee here, so what we do, Trustee White, is we get together, we look at the current budget and how we've spent all year, and then we decide whether we're gonna keep the buckets the same for next year, or if we're gonna raise it or lower it. And it's probably a hour to 90-minute meeting. We have two of them, and then we have a public hearing for the budget where we roll it out to the public and then receive comments on the budget in March. Okay, so I'm looking at people who travel a lot. Why don't you start and give us some dates?
So first of all, Amanda and I and Mary are gonna get together next week.
Okay.
To get everything ready to go for the budget meeting, so we have documents to look at. We'll load in what the government's telling us is the inflation numbers and things and we'll load in the other budgets, like from the fire department, and I don't know if we'll have the planning commission by that time, and the park and stuff like that.
I'll follow up on
So
that.
if we have those, we'll load them in. If not, they'll be placeholders. So I would like to recommend maybe our first one is February 11th.
That is a Tuesday.
That's a Tuesday. I thought we'd try to stick with.
I'm good. Tuesdays are perfect for me. Anybody have any schedule conflicts with that? Does that work
I'm
for you?
aware of.
Okay.
If we could leave it at 6. I know
Okay.
sometimes we move them earlier.
Yep. So let's do February 11th at 6 p.m. for the first one.
And based
Todd,
on,
if you travel, you can chirp in too. She travels a lot, so I'm just okay.
all
Okay.
right, so then I would suggest that we go with Tuesday, March 4th. That's the first Tuesday. Hang on, I gotta check one other calendar. I think the final one would be at the March meeting. Now, unfortunately, the March meeting, I am scheduled out of town for work.
For the March meeting?
Yes,
'Cause I was
but I'll
just-
leave you in good shape to be able to,
So that'll be your public hearing? Is that what you're anticipating?
yep. And Trustee Beeks will be back for the March one, won't he?
So what we did in years past was we have the public hearing
Right before.
right before our board meeting. Okay. So we'll do the public hearing and the board meeting the 18th of March. Does March 4th work for everybody?
That would be at 6 p.m. also. What's the date of the regular meeting when we get to it?
The 18th of March, February 18th is when we have our regular board meeting. But we're gonna do a workshop just for the budget the 11th. Okay?
Which is a public,
Hmm?
it's an open meeting, public
Yep.
meeting. It is
Yep.
a special one. And Mary, just for clarification, what is the stipend that goes to trustees for special meetings? 110.
Not 300.
Not 300.
Thank you.
110. And during the budget meetings, as much as we love Rob Thal, he doesn't come in for those.
So answer to the question, 4th work for everybody? Let's do just an hour on the 4th. Okay, 1 hour on the 4th, March 4th.
And on the 18th, do you want to have the public hearing at 5:30?
Yep,
We usually don't take long.
yep.
Okay.
Rob, you're gonna advertise that for us? Do you need anything from us in order to advertise it? Just the budget?
Yeah, I mean, as we get to that point, I'll talk to you about what I need for the ad.
Okay. I will commit to working with Planning Commission, ZBA, and assessment. I'll have Mary Carol and I work together to get, budget numbers for those 3 commissions. Yep, I saw yours in the packet today. Yes, thank you for that. Any further comment? Thank you, everybody. I'll send out information. Actually, it'll be in our minutes as well, but thank you for setting the budget workshops and the public hearing dates. In the board packet are 3 Board of Review resolutions. We need to execute and sign off on the property tax poverty limit. This is coming out of our assessor's office, letters of protest, and the review dates of Board of Review meetings. And those resolutions are contained in your board packet. There, we do have to have a roll call vote for clerk stage. Would you like to take it from here?
We first need to take a look at the resolution update of state-required poverty level income standards for property tax, poverty exempt guidelines for tax year 2025. And I am resolving that we, as a board, accept this documentation as provided by our assessor.
I'll second it.
So we have a motion to present with support. Is there any further discussion? You may proceed with the roll call vote.
Clerk Stage, yes. Supervisor Hutchings.
Yes?
Trustee Wiersma.
Treasurer,
Sorry, Treasurer Wiersma. Trustee Beeks is absent. Trustee Harmon.
Yes.
Trustee Langshaw. Yes. Trustee White.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Or the resolution carries, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
The second resolution is to provide for alternative start dates for the March 2025 Board of Review. I make a resolution to accept these dates as stated by our assessor.
We have a motion and support to accept the dates as provided by our assessor, Angie Story. Is there any further discussion? You may proceed.
Trustee Beeks, absent. Trustee Harmon.
Yes.
Supervisor Hutchings.
Aye.
Trustee Langshaw. Clerk Stage. Aye. Treasurer Wiersma.
aye.
Trustee White.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
The last one is the resolution to provide for acceptance of letters of protest from taxpayers, residents for the March 2025 Board of Review meeting. I resolve that this, resolution be accepted as presented by our assessor.
I support. We have a motion and resolution to provide for the acceptance of protest letters for the assessor's office from taxpayers. Is there any further discussion? Clerk, you may proceed with the roll call.
Clerk Stage, aye. Supervisor Hutchings.
Aye.
Treasurer Wiersma. Trustee Beek, absent. Trustee Harmon.
Aye.
Trustee Langshaw. Trustee White.
Aye.
The motion carries.
Thank you. Good job. Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority is on the agenda. I was going to tell everybody about what happened on Thursday right there. Is there any discussion on any of the information? I am and have been sending Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority board packets out to this board for at least the last 2 years. Now is the time to be able to ask any questions of Attorney Thal or have any kind of conversation.
So I think based on the comments that were made earlier, it's worth stating how it works, because while we sit on a 5-member board of the Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority, they are their own entity that operates with their own attorney, and much like any other body, it's majority rules and how they vote, and so we have one vote. And so when they bring forward a rate increase, if we were as a board, because we do have to approve that increase, if we were to decline it.
No, oh, go ahead.
So if they were to say we're gonna, whatever percent, here's
Yeah.
this percent increase is coming, and as a board, we don't approve that percent. Rob, could you just state what happens if we turn it down?
Yeah, so at the authority, you're one vote out of 5. So it's just like if you were on this board and you're one vote. So if you vote against it and the rest of the board, authority board votes for it, then it proceeds out to each of the member municipalities for approval. That amount that they say they have to generate that is our share that we have to generate. And so if we don't approve it, we would have to come up with the funds in some other way. And, you know, the way the township would have to do that would be, you know, using funds that other people who don't get the service would be contributing to, if they use tax revenue or something of that sort. So it really ties your hands to a large part. It's really up to, and if people object, they should go to the authority board meeting, object at the authority board meeting, because once the authority board determines that's going to be the new rate, it comes here, but we're very limited in what we can do. And really, out of fairness, it's always, you know, you're going to have the customers of the system pay it rather than all the taxpayers in the township. But that's just, I mean, it's always a choice this board makes, but
Right.
it's not much of a choice one way or the other.
And I think this board has been very critical of the operation of the Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority, to the point that we pulled out from any future, should there ever be water. I don't want to even hate to mention that word. And we went to Kalamazoo, which then we decided not to pursue that. So, I mean, we have sent letters to their board. We have sent letters to the boards of the member townships. And so we have really been putting the heat on them. And as you heard Christina state, the reason why she was asked to leave, and this, I am just shocked that Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority would have a closed-door session to discuss whether or not they need to file a lawsuit against Ross Township. It's amazing.
I will say, I was at the last Gull Lake Water and Sewer Authority meeting, and I will say that Bear Priest, who's now sitting on that board for Richland, I felt like he really kind of supported Christina in the effect about redoing their budget. He was very adamant that he thought that there were places in their budget that they could tighten their belt on and not try to charge the customers so much. And that drove the board to actually vote on to have a budget workshop. And they're supposed to be having that, I think, I can't remember the
I'm looking.
30th, was it? Okay, 30th at 8:30 in the morning, which I think, when I looked at their budget, I was
Dumbfounded.
I was dumbfounded. I had a lot of conversation concerning that with Christina before she went to the meeting, because I'm like, they're raising, I don't know how they're raising their rates. I don't know how they're doing some of what they're doing over there. Their salaries almost increased 17%. I mean, it was astounding to me.
That's just 1 year increase.
Yeah, that's just 1 year. I mean, and then also their lawyers' fees jumped up, I think it was $15,000 or something. I just don't understand it. I mean, I had a lot of questions about their budget, and I was glad to see that Bear really kind of stood up with Christina and said, no, this is enough. So,
Thank you.
just my 2 cents.
Those are good observations. So I don't want to make this sound like a battle cry, but the reality is what Lynn just said. Since I started here in 2021, this board has written long letters to the Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority Board. I've written letters to the Richland Township Board. Those boards don't get involved to the extent that this board gets involved. And so I can't say this enough. If you're sitting in this audience and you have issue with the rate increase, the noise needs to be made at that facility in front of the other supervisors. And if you know individuals that live in Cooper Township, Prairieville Township, and Berry Township, those boards need to hear from you as well, because we are not getting anywhere.
I think you ought to tell what the increase is that they want.
But they wanted a 61.
61 to $60 a month increase.
Yeah, they wanted they wanted the 61. Bear said, no, I can't do that. And so he wanted to hold it at 60, which I was still like, ugh.
High.
That's still high. That's outrageously high. I mean, that's $3 more than what he's getting right now. And that was the other thing. Their conventions and travel, it was just
Was upped.
outrageous.
Anybody here can ask for a copy of the budget from Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority and look at it yourself. So, anything else we want to talk about with Gull Lake Sewer and
Does
Water?
that fee affect the Sherman Lake people as well?
Affects everybody that's on sewer. So all of Gull, all of anybody.
Anybody on the.
Anybody that's on sewer, correct. Any other questions or comments? Moving forward. FOIA appeal, Carrie Lynn Eliff, and I will turn this over to Clerk Stage.
So we have an appeal on Carrie Lynn Eliff's FOIA for the bank statements from 2021 through 2024. She also wants all canceled checks. She wants all wires in and out, debit memos, deposits and credits memos, our fiscal year confirmation, which it is always April 1st through the 31st of March. Our current chart of accounts, which is just brand new this year. All township credit card statements assigned to the supervisor, chief of police, fire chief, and any other township official, employee from 2021 to 2024. A copy of all of our cards of authorization for accounts in the township, and all monthly bank reconciliations from 2021 to 2024. Actually, after I got this appeal, I started looking through my estimate again and reviewing what she's asking for. A lot of these records are kept off-site. We would have to have people they're stored, bring those boxes back to us. Unfortunately, I don't know how my predecessors filed anything, so it would take a while to go through numerous boxes to find the information that is here. Now, when I did my estimate, I was just thinking about the pool account because that's where my main focus is. But after rereading this, I would have to look for any CD accounts, old bank accounts that were had by Cindy that opened. I would have to look for, the credit card statement is not just the credit card from our current credit card holder or consumer, but we also have all of our fleet cards for our fire department and police department, which would have to be copied. And the reason for redactions on this is because we can't have our credit card numbers going out into the public. We cannot have our bank account account numbers going out into the public. So for every statement, I would have to redact all of those informations from those statements. All of the canceled checks would have to have the bank accounts redacted off of them. Then also I would like to have the attorneys review it just in case something else I missed to make sure that everything was appropriate to be handed over. It's no small task to do that. I have to have my clerk come in, even though she's already working twice a week, but doing an extra part of this because we can only charge the lowest amount of anybody in the office. So if I'm doing this, I'm scanning all this material, I'm redacting all this information. It's not a one-day job. It's numerous day job. Because when you start looking at all of the information she's asking for, it's numerous. So it's not that, I know she wants it electronically, but that still means that I'm scanning all this information, still redacting all this information, and then making sure that it's correct and going to her. I feel like I really underestimated this job after looking at it again, but that's here nor there.
Do I understand it right that it says the lowest salaried person capable of doing this, not just the lower salaried person, period? I believe it
Yes,
says
it is.
capable of doing this.
Right.
Is your deputy clerk, do you feel capable of doing that?
With direction, yes. And I did use her salary to do this estimate, so.
Now, what about like hard costs in addition to their salary? So our storage people charge us.
Can you talk into your mic, please? Thank you.
Our storage people charge us $57.35 an hour to pull boxes, and I don't know if they charge additionally to deliver it, but hard costs on top of the deputy salary.
Well, and I don't know that any of those costs were included.
They were
in that
not. Be-
estimate.
I did not.
So, I mean, it looks like it would cost more than what that estimate
That's
was.
what I'm thinking.
And, you know, waivers are at the discretion of the board to do. But recognize if you do that, then it is, you know, those costs are probably the costs. And it sounds like more costs, actually. So, you know, those costs aren't going to be free. You're just going to have to eat them, depending on what you do.
And I think it's important to know when we talk about waiving fees or eating fees, it's not us. We're not a business that eats them. It's the residents who pay taxes that would essentially be eating those fees and paying for those fees. So, Rob, based on the case that has been made to state why they should be, is there any legal grounds that say we have to waive these fees?
No, I think it's totally discretionary, whether you choose to do it or not.
Is this appeal strictly on the fee?
Strictly a fee appeal, is my understanding.
I move we deny the appeal.
I second. Oh, we have a motion and support to deny the appeal. Is there any further discussion? All in favor of denying the appeal, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. The appeal is denied. Thank you. Moving forward into second citizen comment. This is the speed round. You get 1 minute. Talk fast. You may address the board. You don't need to.
I follow.
You don't need to say your name. You don't need
I don't have to
to.
repeat my name again? Okay.
No, go for it.
I generally follow rules. I like protocols. I do not like ambiguity. And I would ask the board to review the verbiage in citizen comments. I like two-way dialogue. I learn more. I think it helps the residents. I think it's a more efficient way to run these meetings. But I find there's significant inconsistency. I see people get up here and you guys will interject and talk to them. Other times you just basically ignore people. You strictly hold to the one-way conversation, 3 minutes. Now, I saw somebody come in here and say, I want to talk more than 3 minutes. And you gave them a lengthy amount of time. I think that's fine, but I think you need to be fair and you need to be consistent. So I would suggest if you want to change the citizen comments section here, change the verbiage to say the trustees reserve the right to participate in two-way conversation at their discretion.
So, Mark, I'm going to address that.
Well, this is two-way conversation.
It is. This is what you want. So I'm the chair. I'm the one that engages in two-way comment, not the trustees. I do. If a trustee would like to speak, the trustee would ask me if they can speak. I'm the chair. I run the meeting. That is the way it is in parliamentary procedure. Every board is like that. What I don't like to do is have you come up and talk for 3 minutes, and then Carrie Lynn comes up and talks for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. That's not fair. So if I allow one person to go over, I'm going to allow the second person to go over, because I do strive to be fair when I'm here. Everybody hears the chime, and I wait. I let people breathe their last breath, have their last sentence, and then they're done. I don't let them start another topic. But the chair is who is the one that does the two-way, not anybody else. If you want to have a meeting, you have an email, you can email anybody here and have a meeting with any trustee one-on-one. But here, it is a business meeting. I do try my very best to keep it to 3 minutes. I'm now well over 1 minute in engaging in a two-way dialogue with you, but it is my discretion, and I do it when it's relevant. Ms. Russell has a very long-standing issue with Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority. She and I have been dialoguing about it for the better part of a year. I'm embarrassed that you are still dealing with that issue. I'm embarrassed.
Supervisor Hutchings, I'm very glad that you allowed her.
But please let me finish. And I, in being compassionate, I'm not going to throw her off the podium, sir. And I would hope that you would respect that if she has information to give to our legal, and I want to be able to help her like I would every resident, that's how I'm going to handle individuals at the podium.
Okay, just to clarify, you're telling me that you have the discretion, to have two-way conversation.
I do, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? 1 minute plus conversation? Feeling generous tonight.
So really quick, I have another handout for you guys. My husband and I received this letter from Bert Gale right after the election. What's crazy is my husband had just put it is a letter to cease and desist operating our business out of our home, because we live in a rural area, an RR area. What was crazy is my husband had just put his business up on a website. So somebody had to go looking for that, number one. But number two, he failed to share the ordinance that states we can operate a business. We do not have trucks going in and out. We do not have signage. We do not have customers. We operate our business doing our emails and phone calls. And who else in Ross Township has received such a letter? This was a very targeted letter to us, very targeted. Who else has received, who in Ross Township has been working from home since the lockdowns?
So,
many people.
Ms. Elift, I'm so glad you brought this up, because I'm going to enjoy explaining your position. You did do a FOIA to the township asking the questions that you're asking right now, but I want to ask you, did you pick up your FOIA, because that information was contained in your FOIA?
I did not receive notice that my FOIA was ready.
So I'm going to answer your question.
Okay.
And I already sent the information out to the entire board, so
Okay.
this is second to them, because you did write the township with these complaints. Your husband contacted Doug Bogema, our fire chief, and requested a 1,000-gallon above-ground gas tank to be stored on your property. The fire chief came to me, and he's the one that actually took issue with it. So this complaint occurred not because of targeting, but because your husband contacted our fire chief asking for an above-ground gas tank to be put on your private property. We do not have the time in Ross Township to spy on people or to target individuals. That's not what we do. But the reason why we found out is because Mr. Eliff reached out to our fire chief.
And you know why
I know
he
that
asked
you,
for it.
and it's not my business.
Okay.
But when individuals want to store thousands of gas on their property, that's a concern for our fire chief. So second to that is, I know that you wrote a letter to the township board. I corresponded with the board and let them know what happened. You asked for all of the cease and desist letters. Our clerk here provided all of the cease and desist letters. She also provided a dollar amount for you to come in and pay, because it cost her to put that FOIA together. It exists in our township, and I would encourage you to pay for it, because there's your answer.
Okay. Well, thank you.
You're very welcome.
And it wasn't for our business, by the way.
I don't
So-
care. It was $1,000 gas tank, and our fire chief took issue with it.
Well, thank
And that's
you.
how it went to
Thank
Burt
you.
Gale. Thank
And-
you.
And it would have been nice for there to be a discussion, so.
That's not what we do, but thank you. Thank you. Anybody else have further question?
Before you start my timer, Christina, I'm glad Bear Priest stood up with you there, because he is a former, he's a kind of related to me.
That's why you like it.
Yeah, well, the name pops up, you know. I'm in possession, I received an email letter from, Attorney Thal to Gully Sewer and Water. And I'm curious about, and I think probably other people that may have, have laid eyes on this letter. If John Crum at Gull Lake Sewer and Water is wanting more money from us, or is this money he's already charged us? So I think people are gonna read this letter and question this and want to know more information and that. So I think that would be a good idea to put that out to the public, to know exactly what's going on with our SAD money, Another thing I wanted to say is I know I have a contract, my contract is signed by the township about the SAD and the equipment on my property. And as you said, this is a Gull Lake Sewer and Water issue, but I'd like just one question. How do you think I feel about paying for my sewer SAD every year when in a situation where my property has no marketability because of this issue with the equipment that was installed? And how do you think I feel good about having to pay this every year for something that it was supposed to enhance my property and it's done nothing to reduce its value, marketability to zero?
Christine, we want you to have this resolved just as much as you do. I know you do, big time. But our hands are tied. There's being upset with us, and I know you're upset. We need you to have these conversations with the Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority Board. And here's why. Because when you come to the Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority Board and you speak to the pain that you're speaking about right now, it's very evident. We all feel it. We all see it. Cooper Township Supervisor needs to see this. So does Richland. So does Berry Township. So does Prairieville Township. People other than the Ross Township Board need to see it so they can act and so they can encourage John Crum to act.
Okay, so it wasn't, and I know you said that they refused to talk to you too.
But I am also encouraging individuals, every individual here, the meetings need to be attended, well attended by individuals at Gull Lake Sewer and Water. And you are not alone in your frustration, but you have a very unique circumstance.
Yeah, no kidding.
That very unique. And I would ask you to take Mrs. McBain and show up and address the board, because the other trustees need to hear what you're going through.
Okay. Well, like I said, I have sent them, and I heard
You need-
nothing back.
I wish
so-
for you to show up, and I will
Okay.
tell you, these individuals show up
Right.
for moral support for me. And so when you walk into the Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority meeting, they will be here and they will have moral support for you as well.
Well, I hope so, and all I can do is give it a try.
And
So-
give us the letters, give a copy. The clerk can put it in with our minutes, so it's an official.
You mean the letter that I sent
That you
to
get
the-
from, no, the letter that you got from your property person, your
Oh,
property
from
specialist.
Fifth Third
Yep.
Bank?
She
Fifth
can
Third
put it in with our minutes, and then Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority changed their meeting schedule. I put it out on the Ross Township website. It is now on Thursdays. So it was last Thursday, and I put the entire schedule out on the Ross Township emails, so if you get the emails, it will be there.
I do.
But I've been trying to get information out to individuals to have them show up at Gull Lake Sewer. The unfortunate thing is individuals think that this board has power over Gull Lake Sewer and Water. We don't. We have no power. It takes 3 trustees at Gull Lake Sewer and Water Authority to do anything. And if you've got 3 trustees that rubber stamp everything, there's nothing I can do. There's nothing any one township can do. So I encourage
So it
individuals
would be
to attend.
good idea for myself, Ms. McBain, possibly Mr. Whitcomb to.
Why not?
Go there in force and
Why
talk
not?
to them.
Why not?
Try to talk to them.
You can
Okay.
address the board, and I encourage you to address the board.
How long, do you know?
You get
how
3
long?
minutes.
3 minutes?
And you can also leave behind your written comments for the board members as well. And if you feel really up to it, go attend Cooper's meeting, go attend Richland's meeting, go attend Berry Township's meeting, go attend Perryville's meeting. Those boards, we listen to our constituents, and those boards need to listen to constituents as well.
All right, well, okay, well, thank you very much. And yes, I would like a copy of the budget, the Gull Lake Sewer and Water.
All you have to do is call them. Well, but we have it too.
Could I get that from you?
Yeah,
All right,
we've,
thank you.
if it's in my packet, I'll give it to you right now. Okay, thank you, Christine. Anybody else want to public comment? Okay. I move that the Township Board convene in closed session under 8(1)H of the Open Meetings Act to consider material exempt from disclosure by state statute, Section 13(1)G of the Freedom of Information Act, being the letter from our attorney dated January 21st, 2025, for the reason that this letter is exempt from disclosure under state law as attorney-client privileged. We have a motion and support to move over into the office area to go into closed session to discuss information with our attorney. Any comments? Roll call vote, please.
Trustee Harmon.
Aye.
Treasurer Wiersma.
Aye.
Clerk Stage, aye. Supervisor Hutchings.
Aye.
Trustee Langshaw. Trustee White.
So what we're going to do is we're going to go across the hall. We're going to have our closed session. When we're done, we will come back in. We will open the meeting back up into current session, and then we will adjourn. You're welcome to stay or leave. Mary can give that to. Yeah, Mary's gonna pass it out.
Right now?
Yeah. Well, no, not right. We're going into session. Okay. But she'll pass it out. Email her. Can you do that? Yeah.
You'll drop your
He
drawers
is.
when you see it.
He is.
It's terrible.
He is.
Because I have something I want to ask him. Should I just email you and then you send it
Yeah.
out again?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give a copy to the clerk.
Brian Walls too. Brian used to take a seat for this spot. And I didn't realize you were here in the township.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right.
Yeah, I came out hanging out with her for about 18 months now. Mark's like, you need to come hang out with Mom, keep her out of trouble. Trying to keep her out of jail. Don't you hate when your kid throws your words back at you? He remembered the time she said, and her husband said, you ever wound up in jail, don't call us, you're on your own. He remembered that. So, mom ends up. He doesn't wanna hear it.
Yeah.
He doesn't wanna hear it, so.
Alright.
Yes, ma'am.
Remember, that is recorded.
We're going to jail now on recording.
Just a drill.
Yeah, this is just a test. We're really not going to jail. This time.
Redact the last 6 minutes. It's good to see you.
So, it's not the first time they've had to do that with me. So, you know.
No, this is just. What is it, when he came, they said. Yeah, we're gonna, the board will come back, you know, after the, your vote is. I can't tell you what we're gonna discuss. Yeah, any documents that you wanna share, please send them to me. Okay. And you gave that to the clerk? Yes. Okay, good. All right. Thank you, Christine. All right, hey, you drive safe going down that big hill. You too. Be careful. Thanks. Bye.
When Dennis came back, left, retired from Gull Lake, or Gun Lake, he had to go to the FTO program at the sheriff's department. Yeah, Beck said that. The lieutenant's like, oh, I know who the FTO is.
His son.
Yes.
And they had 4 years of service in town.
Right.
And what his son did.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. Alright,
But
nice
they
seeing you.
couldn't resist that.
Alright. Take care.
Yep. Man, your son's trouble. Yeah, you got fun with Jackson the other day?
I do, I mean, I did not.
Somebody put those in here, so we couldn't find them. I had no idea what they were all there. Then, and we fixed it over quick, but
Well, I don't.
where's the music?
Well, they have to do that, so.
Oh, people can't hear white noise. Okay, that makes sense.
Well, here's, well, we got a lot to fill out tomorrow then.
Well, yeah, the problem is we couldn't find those, and some, whoever did not,
I don't know. Not me.
it's like, so we killed a few extra pieces of paper. It's no great loss.
Another tree.
Another tree. We get ready to cut one down out at, Parkway.
You know, I really would like to go, but if you can, so. And you can't go. There's a meeting going on.
Well,
It's Chief.
I got guard duty.
What are you guarding? You like
He's guarding the castle.
Mary Carol is ever vigilant.
Aw. He takes good care of us.
So I said, Mary Carol, go home.
Mics are hot. Mics are hot. Mics are hot.
Mike, you're always hot. Remember that.
That's right.
I always forget, so I gotta remind everybody else. That was longer than the open meeting.
Yep, and we talked fast too. All right.
Mr. White's calling. That was his first one.
These girls can talk. Better bring coffee next time, right? Hey, we're doing good. It's 8 o'clock. We're doing really good, guys. We're doing really good, guys. We even went over in public comment. So we are assembling back, mics are hot. We are assembling back into our conference room. I need a motion to.
I move we reopen public session.
I'll support.
We have a motion and support to come back into open session. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you very much.
I make a motion that we instruct Attorney Thal to explore avenues as discussed in closed session on item 1.
Second.
We have a motion and support for Attorney Thal to explore options for motion 1. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
I also make a motion that we have Rob Thal proceed with discussions as it pertains to item 2 in the in the closed session.
I'll support. We have a motion and support for Attorney Thal to proceed as discussed in item number 2. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
And I have a motion to have Rob Thal explore options for our ambulance contract.
I would say that it's just to explore. I don't think I will necessarily be doing that.
Oh, okay, just to explore options for our ambulance contract.
Perfect, yeah, perfect. We have motion and support for Attorney Thal to explore options.
Not a third thought, just to explore.
To explore options. All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I'm sorry, who supported?
Diane had the support.
Okay.
This is Mike's.
Yeah, we'll throw it in his mailbox. Sorry, did I call a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. So we have now exhausted the agenda. It is 8:10 p.m. We have trustee updates if anybody would like to share any information. There being none,
I motion that we adjourn.
we have a motion and support to adjourn. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Hold on one moment. We are ending the stream. Everybody have a good night. Thank you for joining Russ Township.